Hello students, today we are going to start the next division. Earlier in the last phylum we have discussed, that was the phylum Chordata. Under that we have seen the three subphylums. They were the protochordates. First was Urochordata, second was Cephalochordata, and the third was Vertebrata. Under that subphylum Vertebrata, we have seen two divisions. One was Agnatha and another was the gnathostomata. Under the Agnatha, we have studied the two organisms, Hagfish, Myxine, that come under the cyclostomata. Now in this video, we are going to start the next division, that is the second division, that is the division gnathostomata, right? So what is the meaning of gnathostomata? Stome means mouth and gnatha means this structure, the jaws, right? So in case of those organisms which have proper two jaws, maxilla and mandible, the mouth is provided with the two jaws. That type of organisms, they are known as gnathostomata. So here we can write that these organisms are jaw-bearing organisms. So let us see the characteristics. The general characteristics will include, first one, they have the jaw, so that's why these organisms are now known as gnathostomes. This type of organism will have the proper shape of the mouth. Unlike the earlier cyclostomes, what we have seen, due to the lack of the two jaws, their mouth were like surrounding just a circular structure. So that type of organisms were agnatha. So that's why their mouth were circular. But now in this division, that is gnathostomes, the organism's mouth will bear a proper maxilla and mandible. This one, the lower jaw, this is known as mandible, and the upper jaw is known as maxilla. So because of the presence of maxilla and mandible, we become more and more strong so that we can tear the food, and that's why the gnathostomes can be a predator also, right? Next one, the second characteristic, see, that is notochord is replaced by vertebral column. See, earlier I told that in the protochordates, that is Urochordata and Cephalochordata, what happened to them? They had the notochord. That notochord actually was a stiff structure, rod-like structure, right? In this organism, that is the division gnathostomata, we have now proper well-developed vertebral column where the spinal cord, the nerve cord, is present inside the vertebral column, right? And the vertebral column is also present in some pieces, they are known as vertebrae. So either that vertebral column can be cartilaginous or it can be bony. So in this division, this is gnathostomes, the organism notochord will be replaced by the vertebral column, and that vertebral column can be cartilaginous or it can be bony also. Now the next characteristic, see, they will have paired fins and limbs are present. So if that organism is aquatic, they are going to have the fins. If you see in case of the fishes, they are going to have the fins, right? If you see in case of one of the class, that is the class Mammalia, under the class Mammalia, these organisms are generally terrestrial. But what happened, one aquatic organism is whale. So in case of whale, the forelimbs are modified into flipper. So if it is aquatic, they will become, they will have the locomotory organ, that will be fin or flipper. And if it is terrestrial, they are going to have the limbs. That limbs can be either 2 limbs or it can be 4 limbs. Generally they are 4 limbs, but the 2 limbs that can modify into wings or hands, etc. Now the next characteristic, see, these organisms will include both cold-blooded and warm-blooded organism. Now what is cold-blooded and warm-blooded organism? Cold-blooded organism who cannot maintain their constant body temperature. With the fluctuation of the environmental temperature, their body temperature also changes, right? So that type of organisms are known as poikilothermic animals. Now how many organisms are poikilothermic? See, fishes, amphibia, reptile. Okay, this three classes, they are going to be poikilothermic or cold-blooded animal. That means their body temperature cannot be maintained, right? And that's why what happened, as they cannot maintain their constant body temperature, some of the organisms like in the amphibians and reptiles, they undergo summer sleep and winter sleep. If it is summer sleep, that will be known as estivation, and if it is winter sleep, it will be known as the hibernation. Okay, so in case of frogs, in case of some of the reptiles, they will undergo hibernation and estivation. Why? Because these organisms are cold-blooded. And if it comes to the ape and mammal, the birds and the mammals, these organisms are warm-blooded, or they can be also known as homeotherms. That means irrespective of the changes in the environment or in the atmosphere, our body temperature remain constant. So in case of human, our constant body temperature is around 36.5 degrees Celsius, or roughly it is 37 degrees Celsius. Right? So in case of us, we are going to have both cold-blooded animal. Cold-blooded animals we can also call this is as the poikilothermic animal. This is also known as poikilothermic animal. Or if it is warm-blooded, we can call this is as the homeotherm. Right? So these organisms can be both poikilothermic and homeothermic. Fish, amphibia and reptilia, they are poikilothermic, and ape and mammal, they are homeothermic. Now this next point you just see, under this division gnathostomata, we are going to have two superclass. The two superclasses, they are Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces means fishes. Under the fish, we will see two another classes, that are the Conrictis and Ostictis. And under that class Tetrapoda, we have to see the other classes like the amphibia, reptilia, ape and mammal. Right? So that is about the gnathostomes. Now under that superclass Pisces, we will see the classes. So before coming to the classes, let us see some of the general characteristics of the superclass Pisces. Right? So first of all, see the Pisces. Pisces means fish, or we can also call this organism Pisces. See, first of all, let us see the characteristics. The general characteristics are, first of all, it includes the true fishes, all of them they are aquatic. See, if it is all of the organism include true fishes, means what? See, earlier also we have seen the cyclostomes. The cyclostomes nearly look like a fish, but this organism do not, it's not a true fish. Why? Because their morphological structure appears to be like a fish, but they have single nostril, they have unpaired, or they have a single fin. So this type of organisms, they actually do look like fishes, but then these organisms are not the fish. So under this superclass Pisces, these organisms, all of them, they will be truly fish. Right? Now these organisms, they are all aquatic. So under this aquatic environment, we will see the two type of environment. What are they? One is the marine condition and another is the freshwater condition. So if we see the habitat, then that can be both marine water and freshwater. Yes, migration can be possible. This can be either anadromous migration or catadromous migration. So already you know what is anadromous and catadromous migration. I have given already, you just check the earlier videos, you will understand what is anadromous migration and what is catadromous migration. Now after that, let us move to the next part, that is respiration by gills. Yes, these organisms, they will have gills. They will have the paired gill slits, and paired gill slits will help in separating. They can actually take the dissolved oxygen from the water, right? So this will be gills. But yes, lots of organisms, they also show a pulmonary structure, a lung-like structure is present, that is present in the organism. I will show in the later videos that under that also some type of connecting link is present, where some of the fishes, they evolve into the amphibia. Fishes have the gills and amphibia have the lung. Some of the fishes, they develop the lungs also, right? They are actually, one fish I can tell you, that is rabbit fish or ghost fish. This fish actually have the lung-like structure. They have the lungs. They can actually for respiration they use lung. But yes, other than these fishes, they will have gills. Alright, remember they will be all paired. Next characteristic C, each eye have nictitating membrane. See, this is going to be very important. Now, what is that nictitating membrane? If you see only your eye, suppose this is your eye, okay? So if you compare with your eye, then you will understand properly. First of all, just see, this is your eye. Then upper, we will have the upper eyelid. This is the upper eyelid, right? This will be the lower eyelid. And can you ever have noticed that on this corner towards the nose, we have a red spot, right? So what is that red spot actually? This is present as a vestigial organ in case of us. Vestigial organ means those organs which were functional in the ancestral organism, but in case of us, as a evolutionary trace only, it is present, but they don't have any function. Now, what is this structure? What is that red spot actually is? This red spot, this is known as nictitating membrane, right? So what is nictitating membrane? This nictitating membrane is actually a horizontal flap that actually blink this way horizontally. But if you see upper eyelid and lower eyelid, our upper eyelid is movable, right? We move, we blink like this, isn't that? But lower eyelid, it is not movable, right? So as our upper eyelid is movable, lower eyelid is not movable, this way eye functions, right? What happened to the fishes? In the fishes, they don't have the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid. They do not have this two upper and lower eyelid. Instead, they're going to have this nictitating membrane. That is the horizontal flap, and it is transparent, who actually will blink on a horizontal manner. As it is a transparent layer, that means they can see actually through this nictitating membrane, and it is very much important for the aquatic organism. Why? Because you can see the eye, this is an organism where inside we have intraocular fluid. Aqueous humor, vitreous humor is present. Suppose that organism, that is an aquatic organism, they will live inside the water, aquatic environment. So it is possible that the water and salt movement, osmosis can occur. The eye can swell, eye can burst, right? So that's why, to actually give protection to the eye in case of aquatic organism, they have this horizontal flap. Though they actually cover this flap, they can see through this nictitating membrane, and it is present in all of the vertebrates. As a vestigial organ, or it's a non-functional organ, then also it will be present. In case of the fishes, it is truly present. Whenever these organisms become terrestrial, then this function of nictitating membrane will start to decrease. And whenever it is decreasing, it is present in the amphibia, present in the reptilia, present also in the ape. But in case of mammal, it becomes vestigial. Vestigial means which is present, but they do not function, or they have rudimentary function. If you see another vestigial organ, I can give you an example, that is appendix. Appendix is also present, but appendix do not have any function, or they have very rudimentary function. Yes, it has function, but rudimentary function is there. So like this appendix, we also have this nictitating membrane. The corner two red spots, they are the nictitating membrane, a horizontal flap which is functional in the fishes. So this eye have the nictitating membrane. Remember, this is a very important point. But yes, in this organism, they have only nictitating membrane. Upper eyelid and lower eyelid, they are not present. Understand? Now the next one, that is lateral line organ, is present. Now let me show very important characteristics in case of the fishes. Suppose this is a fish, right? Now in case of that fish, what we can see, You may have not noticed, but now you just notice it. Whenever you bring the fish from the market, you just see there is a line present, right? So what is that line? And this line exactly seems like it's actually drawn through a scale. It's so straight, right? So what is that? This is the lateral line. Now what is the importance of this lateral line? Why lateral line is present? What is the main function of this lateral line? See, every fishes will have this lateral line. This lateral line will have a unique function. And what is the function? It acts as a sensory organ. It's acting as a rheoreceptor who can understand the water current, right? Water current, water waves that can be understood by this lateral line organ. Remember, lateral line organ, you just please observe whenever you bring the fish in your home to it, you just see that lateral line organ. This is very much important. It is acting as a rheoreceptor who can understand, feel the water vibration or water current. Okay, so next characteristic, see, heart is two-chambered. Okay, now in this organism, see, if you compare with us, in case of us, our heart is four-chambered, two auricles and two ventricles, right? But what happen in case of the fishes? Fishes will have only two chambers. Okay, what are they? So see here, this is the heart. Okay, so this heart structure I will give you in detail whenever it will be necessary in the body fluid and circulation, another chapter we have. In that we will see all of the structure and function, their controlling, all of those things we will see in detail. But now just remember that in case of the fishes, they have the two-chambered heart, right? The earlier, this is a ventricle, this is one auricle, right? Remember. And in case of the heart, remember, in case of the fishes, it will pump only deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood will be pumped only, right? So this way you have to know that their heart, as they have only the deoxygenated blood pumping function is only to pump deoxygenated blood. So that's why that type of heart is known as the venous heart. Okay, remember that they have only the venous heart. Why? Because it transport only deoxygenated blood. Okay, now I will place the heart here. Okay, so what will happen here? They will have the gills, right? So from the gills, the blood that get oxygenated, and from the lung, the oxygenated blood will be transported to each and every part of the body, right? And after that, deoxygenated blood that will come to the heart, right? They will come to the heart through this auricle. It will go to the ventricle. From the ventricle, it comes out. It comes out and it will go to the gills so that it can get oxygenated. Okay, so this way the blood will be circulated inside their body through the heart. Only deoxygenated blood will be pumped, and after that it will go to the gills. From the gill, the blood will get oxygenated. How actually it will occur? Because gill slits, they will separate the oxygen, they will take the oxygen from the water, and that oxygen will be taken by the hemoglobin of the blood. So hemoglobin will take this oxygen, remove the carbon dioxide, the blood become oxygenated, and directly from the gills, the blood, oxygenated blood will go to the different parts of the body, tissues of the body, carrying the oxygen, right? So this way the blood will circulate in the body. So the heart is two-chambered. They will have only one auricle and one ventricle. Remember, this is two-chambered heart, and this heart is venous heart. Why? Because this heart will pump only deoxygenated blood. Oxygen is absent in that blood, so this is deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood will be pumped by the heart. That's why the heart is called as venous heart. Remember, very much important. Next one, see, they have monocondylic skull. Now what is the meaning of monocondylic skull? Now if you can see only in your body that on the back side you can see that we have two structures on the neck region. On the back of the neck you can see that there is two parts. So just see, this is your brain, this is your skull, and this is your brain, and this is the spinal cord, right? Now around the brain we have the skull, bones are present, this is the skull, okay. And to protect the spinal cord, what you have? The vertebral column. So this way vertebral column is present. On the neck region we don't have neither the skull nor the vertebral column. So in this region, to protect the spinal cord, what we have that from this region we are going to have two condyles, okay, and that condyle will be present in case of our body. Our structure, our skull is dicondylic, that means two occipital condyle. Why it is called as occipital condyle, I will tell you in later part whenever will be studied all those things. So we will have two occipital condyle that will arise from this occipital region, that is actually the last portion of the skull, and after that it will join to the first vertebrae, okay. So this way what will happen, we will have the two condyles. So that's why our skull is dicondylic, why two occipital condyle is present. But in case of the fishes, what happened? In case of their body, their skull is going to have only one occipital condyle. Remember, they are going to have only one occipital condyle. In case of us, we have two occipital condyle. In case of the fishes, okay, let me tell you where the occipital condyle only one is present and where two is present. See, in case of mammals and in case of amphibia, okay, mammals and amphibia will have dicondylic skull. Then fishes, that means the superclass Pisces, reptilia and ape, we will have, these organisms will have the single occipital condyle, that means they are going to be monocondylic. Fish, reptile, ape will have the monocondylic skull. Mammals and amphibia will have dicondylic skull. Remember that, it is going to be very much important. Next one, the next characteristic, see, in the fish body what they have, slimy gland present. You can see the fishes, it's very tough to touch, isn't that? If you suppose want to grab it, they will just remove from your hand. Why? Because their skin is so slimy, and this slimy gland is present on the skin. Above their scales, they are going to have the slimy gland, and this slimy gland will protect the organism from any type of infection, like bacterial and fungal infection will be prevented from their skin. Skin means their scales. Why? Because this slimy gland is present, who can act as an antibacterial substance too. Next one, this kidney is mesonephric. Mesonephric kidney is a type of kidney where the less blood supply is present, so they are going to have mesonephric kidney. So that's why they have a well developed renal portal system, okay. So what is renal portal system and all, I will give you in detail later on, but just for now you have to understand that yes, they have the renal portal system and their kidney is mesonephric, and this mesonephric kidney is present actually in the aquatic organism, right? But in case of the waste product can be both ammonia or urea. So some of the fishes they are ammonotelic, some of the fishes they are ureotelic. Generally conrictis, cartilaginous fish, they are actually they release the urea, and in case of osteichthyes they release the ammonia, okay. Osteichthyes they are ammonotelic, conrictis they are ureotelic, right? In case of the superclass, these are the characteristics. Later on in the next video we will see that under the superclass Pisces we will get the two classes, one is conrictis and another is osteichthyes. Hope you have understood this division, gnathostomata and the superclass Pisces. Other than all of the other characteristics, that is about reproduction, their egg laying or they give birth the new young ones directly, all of those things we will see in detail in the next video whenever we will discuss the two classes, Ostectes and Conrictes. So till now that is all about this characteristics of the superclass Pisces. Hope you have understood. Thank you.